I'm Christian Mayhew, and I did the benefits of hot and cold therapy on post-workout muscle soreness on male powerlifters. So the introduction to our study. So muscle soreness is a common occurrence faced in gyms nationwide. What they call muscle soreness is DOMS. It's the delayed onset of muscle soreness. Soreness is due to the buildup of lactate while simultaneously using it as an energy source for future work, either in your daily tasks, your workouts, or accessory work if you're not doing heavy compound movements. So evidence has shown that cold water immersion has a positive impact with helping prevent DOMS. There's little research that shows the effects of combining that with hot therapy, so things as maybe getting a sauna or a steam room. So some things that we're gonna test during our research study is we're gonna test the effects of muscle soreness on heavy compound movements, specifically the squat, with 3 different groups of participants. Our 3 groups are no recovery methods, we have just cold water immersion, and then we have the combination group, which is going to be first hot therapy in a steam room and then cold water immersion. So right here is just a little diagram of the muscle groups in the legs. We're specifically going to be targeting the rector femoris, the vastus lateralis, and then the peroneus longus, which is your quads, your hamstrings, and then your calves. So the significance of the problem, basically why we're doing this, is one of the biggest things, especially for people that have just started going to the gym, is soreness. You'll go to the gym, you'll get a free workout from a trainer, and he'll just work you. The next day you wake up, you're so sore. So many people say just there, no, I'm done. I don't want to go back. I don't want to be sore every day. So our goal is try to find some methods to help with this. So actual muscle soreness can carry over to the next day due to a sudden acute stretch of the muscle tendon, which the lifter is not accustomed to. So they might not be accustomed to it. Like I said, if they're brand new, they're not going to be used to these exercises, or even very experienced lifters can feel this from maybe starting a new workout program that has a higher intensity with more reps, more sets, or even just going heavier one day, trying to test out their max lift, or just trying to lift heavy for once in a while. So DOMS actually peaks anywhere between 24 to 48 hours. From what we've seen, 48 hours is actually the top peaking point. So, and then another thing is we're gonna find new ways to prevent muscle soreness that can help retain new gym goers. So some more significance of why we're doing this study is muscle soreness can be a preventative to next day workouts. So someone that comes in, even an experienced lifter, they'll come in and they'll be super sore. They'll not want to go as hard. They'll want to maybe take a step back from their program or something like that because they're so sore. So we're trying to do this study to help these people come in the next day, be able to work out their full potential, especially an elite powerlifter that maybe are trying to do competition, stuff like that. So, and then it's a mental barrier. A lot of times a mental thing will pop in your head that you'll not want to lift as heavy, you'll take a step back, and we're trying to eliminate that. So, and then muscle soreness can lead to injury. So it can lead to injury because if you're lifting super heavy and you're unsteady on your legs, something like that, you might trip, you might do something, your legs might give out, so that can prevent injuries down the way if we can reduce the amount of soreness. So the purpose of our study. So recovery methods are at the forefront of many research right now to help people both new and experienced in the gym. One of the most effective recovery methods right now that we know of is foam rolling, especially right after a heavy lift or coming in the next day and doing it right after you've done some kind of light cardio, got the muscles warmed up a little bit, done some stretching, and then you go and roll those muscles out. So, but one of the new things that a lot of researchers have been looking at is cold water immersion. and it's becoming very popular, specifically ice baths for athletes at the professional level and at the college level. So when performing this study, we're going to be looking at two specific things. We're going to be looking at the lactic buildup in the quads, the hamstrings, and the calves, and then we're going to look at the muscle soreness across a 48-hour period. We're going to be looking at the lactate buildup in the muscles through blood testing. So we're going to take some blood samples, see what the levels of lactate is throughout the participant. So our hypothesis. We believe that cold water immersion, when combined with heating, that the lactic buildup and soreness of our participants will be lower when compared to just cold water immersion and compared to the no recovery methods. Like I said, our groups are going to be the no recovery methods, the combination group, and then just the cold water immersion. So previous studies have shown that cold water immersion is already proven as a positive recovery method. So we're just trying to take that step further to see if we can help even more. So right now, little information has been released on heating the muscles. So that's why we're going to try to see what we can find out with this study. So some of our limitations of our study. We have 3 limitations. It's going to be experience, it's going to be crossover, and then it's going to be genetic advantages. So experience. So there's no way to specifically tell how experienced our participants are. They can come and tell us, hey, we meet your requirement of at least lifting for like 2 years, but we don't know what kind of lifting they did or all this, all the other information without going so far in depth of like checking tracking logs, and so many people aren't doing that, so that's going to be very difficult for us. So that is going to be one of our bigger limitations. Like I said, it will require extensive research on every individual's past workout experience. So crossover. So we know that when an experienced person in the gym goes and works out, everything like that, they already know sometimes they're going to be sore. So these people that we're using, that we pick to use, are going to come in, they know they're going to be sore, but they're going to be able to work out through it. So we don't know how this is going to play over to someone that's very new to the gym, because their muscle soreness is going to be at a greater level than someone that's an experienced powerlifter. So we're trying to see further in further studies to see how all of this research is going to apply to a new group of people that are just newly coming to the gym. So and then our last one is the genetic advantages. So some people have a better genetic DNA that allows them to be more athletic and everything like that. They might have just already genetically with better muscles in their legs, their calves, stuff like that. So we don't know how that's going to play over to someone that isn't genetically gifted like that. So that's another one of our last limitations. So delimitations. So not everything can be controlled in a study when the participants are out of our sight, but some of the things that we can control. So diet. We will provide the participants certain macronutrient levels that they have to hit throughout the day, so specific protein levels, your fats, and your carbs. And then especially we want to get these certain macros hit right before they come in. So we have told our participants that at least 30 to 45 minutes before they come into the facility, they need to have eaten a certain meal that's going to hit their specific macros. So that specifically is going to help us make sure that the muscles are full and energized and ready for the lift that we're going to do, the squats or the accessory movements we're going to do, so that we know that these muscles are ready for full potential. So water consumption. We will monitor water consumption throughout the whole workout. And then, but specifically, we want them to be drinking at least a gallon, all the way up to 1.5 gallons of water per day. And then we want them to be drinking about 48 ounces at least 45 minutes prior to coming into the facility to work out. And then we have some requirements for the lifting. So each participant will have to have been in the gym working out for at least 2 years, and not just like a regular thing, like an actual like scheduled program that they've been hitting at least for 2 years now. So our participants. So our participants are male powerlifters with 2 or more years of workout experience. So our target age is between 20 and 27 years old. And then, so they must be already regularly training legs so that they're used to the workout that we're going to give them. And then, so the group's monitored for research, for the research study. So we're going to consist of 3 groups, like I mentioned before. Each one is going to have 2 to 3 participants in each group, so that we don't have a huge group of people coming in to work out at some time. We can focus on each person, making sure they're getting the right water, they're getting the right rest time, so we can just really pay attention so that none of this stuff is going to actually become a limitation to us. So like I said, the groups will be the no recovery, the combination group, and then the cold water immersion group. So, and then they must agree to follow protocol and be all right with diet monitoring and to withstand extreme temperatures. So each person has to be medically clear that they can go from being in a ice bath then straight into a sauna or reverse, sauna to ice bath. So some more things about our participants. So some things that will be asked about the participants before being accepted to the study. They cannot have suffered any extreme lower injuries. They must be approved to squat regularly and at a high intensity by a licensed doctor. And then they cannot have any medical conditions that can interfere with this study. And then we're actually going to notify our participants at least a month ahead, so that if there is a worry that they can't withstand the temperature changes, that they can go in and go to a sauna or an ice bath and at least get their body used to it, so it's not a sudden shock to everything. So our procedures. So day 1, we're gonna come in, we're gonna do our baseline. We're gonna come in, we're gonna have our participants squat. We're gonna see what their maxes are, because that's gonna help us make their workout program. So we're gonna, by the 10-week period that we're running, we want them to be getting up to at least an RPE of 8 or 9. So but we have to calculate that first. So that's what we're gonna do with our baseline. We'll test, and with that week, we're gonna only test once because we're doing such a maximal testing. We don't want to burn out their legs week 1. So besides that, each week our participants are gonna come in and squat 2 times a week, and then do 2 accessory movements after that. 1 week it's going to be a leg extension and standing calf raise. Second one is going to be a leg curl and then standing calf raise again. So after week 1 is over, like I said, we'll test legs out 2 days a week and have a workout plan for each day in between, with a rest day given at the end of the week. So we're gonna have we're basically going to be modifying our program around a push-pull leg system, but we're going to hit that 6 days a week, and then Sunday is going to be their rest day. But one of the things is that we want all of them to be coming into our facility, and so that we can monitor them, so that they're not pushing their body to too high of a limit when we're not there. We want everything to be at around like an RPE of like 5 to 6 when they're doing just the regular exercises, whether it be chest exercises, back, shoulders, anything like that, because we don't want this to become a limitation to us, that it's going to do something to our squatting, which is our main focus right now. So proper rest periods are going to be given in between every set that we do. So we're going to have between a 3 to 5 minute rest period between each set, and then at least 5 minutes between each exercise. So after they squat and do their accessory, we're gonna give them at least 5 minutes to get some water and just rest for a little bit. So, and then like I said, we're gonna monitor the RPE of all workouts so that we do not exhaust muscles more than we planned. So after each session, we are gonna provide the participants with a survey to ask how their body is holding up, specifically to muscle soreness. So we're gonna ask them, hey, like, for the people that are in the combination group, do you think this is helping you right now? How sore are you between 1 and 10? Just questions like that. And then we're gonna like start doing the more intensive stuff with the blood testing. So after everyone is given the survey, we're gonna then move on to either just cold water immersion or the steam room and cold water immersion with the ice bath. So like I said, we're gonna separate the participants into their specific group based on muscle recovery methods. So all the testing will be done at the same time so that there's no rest period advantage between the groups. So right after we're gonna give them a certain time period that they're gonna have to finish the survey. Right after that, the cold water immersion group and the combination group are both gonna be going into the ice baths at the same time. And then then they're gonna have a break, and then the people that are in the steam room are going to go right into the steam room, and then they're going to have another little break, then go back into the ice bath. So the cold water immersion group. Ice bath at a temperature between 36 to 39 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 minutes. And then we're gonna repeat this 2 more times with a 5-minute break in between. So then another thing we're gonna do is water consumption monitoring. We're gonna monitor it, and then at least one 20-ounce bottle of water has to be consumed by the end of the session. After, either for the combination group has to be done by the end of the steam room, the cold water immersion group has to have it done by the end of their ice bath. So the specifics on the combination group. So we're gonna start off in a regulated steam room at a temperature of 130 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes. We're gonna take a 5-minute break, and then we're gonna proceed to get into the ice bath for 10 minutes, just like the same time the cold water immersion group is in the ice bath. The ice bath will be at the same temperature that the cold water immersion group was in, so that the temperature will not be a limitation to our study. And then the combination group will repeat the hot and cold sequence 2 more times with the same rest periods of 5 minutes in between. Taken between the change from hot to cold, and again 5-minute break before returning to the steam room. The cold water immersion group is also going to get about a 5-minute break in between their sessions. So here's just a sample workout design. So what we're going to start off with, all of the participants are going to come in. We're going to do a light cardio on a bike for 10 minutes. We're then going to do dynamic stretching of the legs, and then we are going to go into our warm-up sets. So we're going to do a 5 set warm-up. We're going to start off with just a 45 pound warm-up, which is just the bar. We're going to do that for 10 reps. Then we're going to do a 1x5 at 40% of max, a 1x4 at 50%, a 1x3 at 60%, and then a 1x2 at 75%. After that is finished, then we're going to go into our working sets, which are going to be whatever the calculated RPE is for that specific week. So after that, we're going to do either leg extensions for the first squat session of the week, or we're going to do leg curls for the second thing. They're both going to be the same warm-up sets and reps, and then working set for each exercise. So leg extensions, we're going to do a 2x5 at an RPE of 5. Then we're going to move over and do a 2x8 and RPE of 6 or 7. Then, like I said, that's going to be the same for both your leg extensions and your leg curls. Then we're going to finish off the workout with a standing calf raise. So we're going to do a warm-up set of a 1x5 at an RPE of 5, and then we're going to do a 2x10 at an RPE of 6 or 7. So basically why we picked to add the accessory movements with the squat is because realistically, no one is going to come into the gym and just go and just squat and then leave. They're going to squat, then they're going to do at least 2 accessory movements So for these results to be comparable for a normal person at the gym, we wanted to add these accessory movements into our study. So this is basically just showing us our proper form of how we are going to do the squat. So each person should know when they come into the facility how to do the proper one. But if we need to or something like that, we're actually going to have some licensed coaches with us throughout the study. And so they'll be there to help with technique, cues, or anything like that in case it's going to be a problem for later down in the study. So, like I said, we're going to do a sample. We're going to do a survey right after the workout. So, and here's just some questions that we're going to ask pre-workout, post, and then at the end. So, our pre-survey for when the first day that they come in, we're going to ask something like, do you do anything currently to help with muscle recovery? Do you foam roll? Do you take supplements after you work out to help with it? Then how do you feel towards the idea of cold water immersion and heat training? And then do you believe that these techniques will help with your muscle recovery? So after workout. So we're gonna actually do this survey every day, this one. We're gonna do how sore are you on a scale from 1 to 10 because like I said, DOMS can hit you between 24 to 48 hours. So we wanna see if the 24-hour period is worse or better than the 48-hour period, and if our actual muscle recovery methods are working. So it's then if you are not in the controlled group, the no recovery, do you think the procedures are helping with it? So, and then a post survey. Do you think the muscle recovery efforts worked if they were in one of those groups? How did you feel about this research study? And then if you could change anything, what would it be so that when we move on to a new group, we have some stuff to work on? So our instruments that we're going to use. So researchers will be using anthropometric measurements of each participant before the study is conducted. So day one, they're going to come in and we're going to check their height, we're going to check their weight, and then we're going to check muscle size, specifically in the legs, like the quads, the hamstrings, calves, stuff like that. And to see if any of these body measurements will play a role in muscle recovery. We want to see if maybe someone that is bigger has a harder time with recovery or vice versa. So we'll be using scales that are in our testing facility and using a tape measure to get the height. So each time we do this, we're going to do it at least 3 times to get an accurate measurement. And then to get the muscle size, we're actually going to be using a DEXA machine in our facility. And again, we're going to do that at least 3 times to again get our accurate mean size. And then we're going to conduct these tests, the height, weight, muscle size, every 2 weeks and keep them in our participants' logbook. So this is just a sample of what our logbook is going to look like, have around the participant name, the height, weight, muscle size, and then per week so that we can compare these results throughout our whole study of our 10 weeks. So our statistical techniques. We're going to be using the ANOVA statistic. So that is the collection of statistical models and their associated estimation procedures. So we'll be checking the lactic acid build up of our participants through blood testing to see if we have less lactic buildup through different recovery methods. Then we'll also be taking the mean lactic acid in the blood system to compare results across the 3 groups. So we'll take the mean between the cold water immersion, the no recovery, and then the combination group to see if they have a less lactic buildup across the board. And then we're going to be looking at quantitative specifics of each participant, the muscle size of the quad, the height, and the weight. And then this is just the work site that I used for our PowerPoint.